The Mountain West has a handful of really solid prospects in this year's draft class at a lot of super key positions. The Mountain West has always produced some pretty solid NFL talent, and this year it is rich with skill. One of the most intriguing prospects, who shockingly went back to school for another year, is Colorado State wide receiver Tory Horton, a player who has been incredibly productive for the Rams and is expected to have another major season and hopes to boost his draft stock. How high could Horton hear his name called at the NFL draft? That is what we will be going over in today's video. But hey guys, if you guys are new to the channel, consider hitting that like and subscribe button. Also, be sure to check out my Patreon, where for $5 a month, you guys will get exclusive access to my draft guide, evaluations, and exclusive prospect interviews. Leave a comment and let me know which prospects you guys want to see me talk about in a future video. And without further ado, let's take a closer look at Tory Horton. Horton is going into his 5th collegiate season, and he has been incredibly productive. It shocked the college football world when Horton decided to return to school for another year because many people viewed him as an early day 2 pick for the 2024 draft, but he did return and is expected to have a big season for Colorado State this year. In 2023, he finished the year with 96 receptions for 1,144 yards and 8 touchdowns on the season, and he was a big-time player for Colorado State. Horton has some really incredible size. He is 6'2", and he has incredible length on the outside. He has the frame to be a legit number 1 wide receiver at the NFL, and he knows how to play up to it. He finished the season with a 57.1 contested catch rate, and he shows some super solid physicality and the ability to just go up and get the football, which you love to see. Horton's hands are something that I was really impressed by as well. He seemed to catch just about everything that was thrown his way. Now, he did have 4 drops on the season, but 3 of them came in the same game against Boise State. He does a really nice job of working his way back to the football and going up and getting it, while also catching the ball in stride, and I really love Horton's hands. Athletically is really where I was most impressed by Tory Horton though. There are so many things that Horton does well, but his speed is where we have to start. At 6'2", he is expected to run on the 4.4s, and he has some blazing speed that he utilized to take the top off the defense. He had some decent burst, and I think his release package was a bit inconsistent, but nonetheless, he had great speed. On top of that, he had phenomenal footwork. He was precise, and it felt like there was never a wasted movement in his game. He had some great instincts along the sidelines and made some incredible plays. On top of that, he showed some really nice athleticism after the catch as well. He had 575 yards after the catch in 2023 and averaged an extra 6 yards per reception after the catch. Overall, he has some elite quickness and long speed, and I think his athletic profile is super intriguing for teams at the next level. In terms of weaknesses, there isn't a lot to dislike about Horton. He is an older wide receiver prospect, as he will be 22 at the time of the draft, but that's not something I'm too concerned about, but it is something to note. I think Horton does need to add on some weight at the NFL level. As we mentioned, he has great length, he's tall for the position, but he's still pretty slim out there, weighing only 190 pounds. He needs to add on a little bit of weight, as he's not the most physically imposing player in the world, and I think he would benefit from that. He does get punched off his route a little bit easier than you'd like to see, and his play strength is lacking despite good contested catch abilities, and I'd like to see him get up to about 195 or 200 at the time of the combine. The other area I didn't like about Horton's game was his route running. He has the speed to win down the field. He breaks out of his routes quickly, and Colorado State really underutilized him in Norvell's offense and had him running a lot of short crossers and screens and plays of that sort. His average depth of target was 10.2 yards, and his yards per route run were only 2.74. He has big play potential, and I really feel that Colorado State didn't maximize his potential there, and I want to see him be used a bit more in those areas, because it does hurt his stock when you really haven't gotten to see him create a ton of separation in the middle of the field and show what his twitchiness looks like, so that is a slight concern I have. I like Tory Horton quite a bit though, and I think he's an athletic freak. I do have some questions about his route tree, some inconsistencies in his release package here and there, and also some concentration drops. He does slide a little bit for those reasons, and he's my wide receiver 7 in the group early on. I think he can definitely rise up over the course of the season. He is a top 50 player in the draft class for me, however, and I think he does have a lot of skills that will translate very well to the next level. Horton, to me, yes, he has the size to be a number 1, but I think he profiles as a really good number 2 receiver. I don't think he is the most physically imposing guy, but if you have him as a Y on the outside with the perfect skill set to be a number 2 with his speed, his athleticism, his hands, I think he is a very scheme versatile player due to his athletic profile, and I think he's going to have a lot of success at the NFL level. My player comparison for Tory Horton is Pittsburgh Steelers wide receiver George Pickens. Pickens is not necessarily an elite route runner, but he has some incredible hands and he shows some incredible athleticism. Pickens is slightly bigger than Horton, but they both have a very similar skill set. They have a very similar route tree, they win in the same ways, and I think they've got very similar skill sets, so that's my comp. Tory Horton is a terrific athlete. He has some incredible hands, good speed, and he shows some yard after catch upside as well. If he can flash a little bit more consistency as a route runner, I think he will be viewed as an elite prospect. And ultimately, I believe that Tory Horton will be a second round pick in the 2025 NFL Draft.